Alright, welcome back to the Game Smash Podcast. As always, I'm your host, William Liberty, and with me is...
Fawaz Muhammad Yusuf.
And today we got a pretty packed podcast. Monster Hunter X Cross announced in Japan. Guilty Gear Xrd Revelator. Aria officially announced for Killer Instinct. Sony Vita is pretty much dead. Xcom 2. And our expectations for Sony at E3. But first, before we do that, let's talk about what we played this week. So I played a couple other games. I played League of Legends, but I actually went back to Helldivers again.
Oh, really?
I downloaded the expansion, which was free. It was the free update. I invited about 3 of my friends over, and we just spent like a couple hours just having a blast again. Like, that game really makes a goddamn difference if you're playing with people you know. And actually, it's a lot more fun, I find, if you're playing in the same room, which I feel makes the PS3 version the best, in my opinion, because you can just literally turn on a controller and everyone can just be guests. You can't really do that with the PlayStation 4 version, unfortunately.
Really?
Yeah, because everyone has to be an official PlayStation 4 member, like PlayStation Plus member, to play on the PlayStation 4 version.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, unfortunately, that does kind of suck, but I got the PlayStation 3 version, so there was no problem. And it was a lot of fun. We were fighting against the bug enemies, and the new enemy that they brought to that game is there's an enemy that it's the same size as the behemoth. Like, it's a big, remember that big guy who would charge?
Yeah.
He's around the same size as that, but what he does is that he's got like a tentacle head, and he puts his head into the ground, and then tentacles will shoot out of the ground in random spots and just flail around. So it really screws you up, because what will happen is that you'll get kind of like separated or blocked off because these tentacles will just like tear you apart. And we had a situation in which we were driving around the car. My friend couldn't hit the objective markers, like the little hive places.
Yeah.
He couldn't hit it, and then the vehicle started burning, so we all jumped out, and immediately the tentacles exploded. The tentacles exploded out of the ground, like trapping us near the burning vehicle, and everyone just died almost immediately. It was friggin' awesome.
That's funny.
So I had a lot of fun with that, but that's what I did this week. So what about you, Fawaz?
Okay, so I primarily played The Witcher 3. Yeah, I checked yesterday, and it turns out I've played 6 days. I've spent 6 days playing that game, so that's about 140 hours already. Which is saying a lot considering it came out 2 weeks ago. But I didn't even realize it was that much. But anyway, other than that, I played Magica 2, which was the original Magica was made by the people that made Helldivers. So yeah, me and my friend played Magica 2, and we beat the campaign. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it's got some similarities to Helldivers. You've got your friendly fire. It's your top-down twin stick quote unquote shooter.
Yeah.
But it's got these really, really cool interactions. You've got 8 spells, right? Fire, water, electricity, ice, frost, rock, shield, life, and death, right? Mm-hmm. And every element has another element. You can mix all your elements. Every element has another element that it can't be mixed with. You can't mix fire and frost. You can't mix water and electricity. Shit like that. Yeah. And then, there's just really, really cool stuff. Like, if you mix fire and water, you get steam. If you mix water and frost, you get ice. Every spell that you make, you can cast it in 4 different ways. You can cast it directly, as a beam or as a fireball. You can cast it on yourself. So if you make shield and rock, and you cast it on yourself, you make rock armor. You can cast it in AOE, and then you can cast it on your sword. So it's got you find some really, really interesting spells that way. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. We beat it a couple of days ago. It's not very long though. It's 9 levels, and honestly, we could have beaten it in 2 days, but we were just, we didn't want to beat it ourselves. We wanted to beat it together, so we had a hard time finding time to play together. But it's fun. It's fun. So yeah, that's primarily what I played last week.
All right, cool. But without further ado, let's get into some news. Thank you for Waz for bringing me attention. Monster Hunter X got announced in Japan. They released a fancy new trailer. It's a 3DS title, exclusive, and it's just another new Monster Hunter. So everyone knows that I loved Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. It came out a couple months ago, and my friend loves it even more than me. He's clocked about 400 hours already.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's good. Like, it is by far the best Monster Hunter, and I'm telling you, man, that aerial combat makes such a difference. It just makes the biggest difference in the world. What they basically shown was just like, better. It looked like cooler aerial combat stuff. Like, there was some really like, oh, that looks so cool. Where like there's a weapon called the gun lance where you can shoot. You can shoot with it, like it shoots like an explosive shot, like, a shotgun shot almost, right?
Yeah.
So what the guys did in the trailer was he did a jump over the monster and shot out of his lance like several times while in the air and landed on the other side.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and that's the kind of cool actiony stuff that I love. So I'm kind of excited. There are a couple things I did notice. There seems to be a little bit of asset reuse because it's a lot of locations from 3 Ultimate. There's a lot of locations from 4 Ultimate. There are a couple new areas that are completely new to the game. But it's kind of a weird thing. I know this is an odd comparison, but I feel like Monster Hunter is starting to become a little bit like Pokemon in the way that, the recent Pokemon X and Y, it was a lot of Pokemon that came out from the other like games, like Sapphire and the original and stuff like that, and then they added like maybe 50 new ones or like a couple new ones.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like Monster Hunter is kind of starting to fall into that trap where it's like they only showed like 4 new monsters, and a lot of the ones in the trailer are from the other games. So I don't know. That's a little bit of a disappointment, but honestly, those new aerial combo stuff looks really, really cool, and I'm hoping that it comes out in North America, but I feel confident that it will because of the success of Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. So yeah, so just excited. Looks cool. But moving on from that, Guilty Gear Xrd Revelator. So I'm sure you're excited for another Guilty Gear, right, Fawaz?
Here's the thing though, is that I mean, anyone who knows anything about Arc Systems games knew that a new Guilty Gear was coming. Like,
Yeah.
this is just how they work, right? I mean, Guilty Gear only had 16, Xrd only had, 16 characters?
Yeah. Something around that.
So, yeah, I knew for a fact there was going to be a new one. And Johnny, one of the characters that's revealed for Revelator, was actually like a full 3D model. He was a full 3D model in Xrd, so we all knew it was coming. However, what I'm hoping, and this isn't confirmed yet, but what I'm hoping is that it's not a brand new disc. It's DLC. Kind of how Capcom did. Like they had Super Street Fighter, like they had Street Fighter 4 and then they had Super Street Fighter 4, which were 2 separate discs. But once Super Street Fighter 4 came out, everything after that was DLC.
Okay.
AE was DLC, Ultra was DLC, 2012 was DLC, right? So I'm hoping that's how they handle this. Although knowing them, that's probably not going to be the case. So I'm kind of disappointed because I don't really feel like paying, because this isn't going to be the last version either. I don't feel like paying $60 every year and a half for a new version of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but just the game itself, they said that they're adding some new features. They're adding a mode called Stylish Mode, which pretty much gives you some simplified combos, Persona Arena. Yeah. Which is cool because Guilty Gear is not an easy game to learn.
No.
It's one of the most difficult fighting games I've ever had to learn. It's so giving people a way to pick up a character and they can focus on learning, fundamentals with the character as opposed to, because like one issue that a lot of people encounter when learning a new character or a new fighting game in general is that they spend more time fighting their controllers than their opponent, right? So
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
there's not a lot of time to learn the fundamental aspects of fighting. So if there's something like dial combo, I think it's good. Yeah. The location tests are going to start in Japan on the 5th of June. So we're going to start getting some information on how Johnny is going to play,
Right.
the balancing aspects for the old characters, and there's another character who we might see at the location test on the 5th of June.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, yeah, I am excited despite the tone of my voice. I am excited for a new Guilty Gear. So yeah, looking forward to it. It's gonna be a while before it comes to the US anyway, so
Yeah.
it doesn't matter as much.
A lot of these Japanese games just taking so long to come over to the West, and they look so
Honestly.
cool.
Real quick before we leave this, funny story. You know that Arx is just announced that Xrd is coming to the UK. I think next month.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Those poor bastards. I feel so sorry.
Revelator got announced before Xrd made it to Europe.
Oh man, that is just rough. Yeah,
that is brutal. I can't even. I would have imported the Japanese version if I lived in Europe, honestly, because but
it baffles me how bad the UK gets it when it comes to release dates, especially for Atlas games. Apparently, Atlas games are the worst when it comes to the UK because they always get them like months later.
That's brutal, honestly.
But moving on to some more fighting game news, we got Arya officially announced for KI. So she's a new character, and she looks pretty damn interesting. She's got like these two little drones that follow her around, and she can combo with them and stuff like that. She's kind of got this like metallic robot angel vibe going to her. She looks really cool. But what are your thoughts on her?
Yeah, she looks awesome. So the two drones that she has, she can switch them into her body, right?
Okay.
So when she switches drones, she gets access to new modes. Like one drone allows her to play more of a long range game, and the other one gives her more speedy attacks and shit like that. So she like even her intro animation is so cool because she's like walking towards the person and she's switching the drones out while she's doing it. She's just a very, very cool design. I literally say this with every single Killer Instinct character that we've done on the podcast, but I am so impressed with how unique she is. Like, not even unique from it. Like, I swear, I feel like I'm repeating myself. Not even unique from a KI perspective, but from a fighting game perspective in general. She's just so unique and so cool. And her instinct mode was very anime, though. When she powers up and there's like this there's this animation that goes on. It just looked really, really anime. But it was it was cool. Unfortunately, she's the last season 2 character. I actually watched the trailer all the way to the end in hopes that there'd be a tease or
someone else as well.
But no, she's the last season 2 character. So she might actually be the last character for Killer Instinct because there might not be a season 3 because all the popular old school characters have all been added already.
Exactly.
It's like Tusk and this other chick whose name I can't remember, but neither of them is a legacy character,
Right.
Like TJ Combo. So she might actually be the last character, which kind of sucks. But she looks really cool. I think she's already out actually. But what about you? How do you feel about her?
Well, she looks really cool. Honestly, she looks like a lot of micromanagement would probably be involved. And honestly, since I kind of suck at fighting games, I probably would never use her. I mean, she looks cool. But honestly, like the characters, like after playing a couple fighting games, I kind of lean towards the characters that have a lot of range and are easy to use. Like in Skullgirls, I play a lot of Skullgirls. And my favorite character in that game is Peacock, who can just teleport around and shoot a little pistol, and she's all about like ranged projectiles. So I like using that because I feel like such a bastard because I'm running away from the fight and just shooting. So, but she seems like a very interesting character to those who could probably handle the micromanagement with the drones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, she definitely looks cool, and like we said before on the podcast, the designs of all these characters are just awesome. Like they just keep on just hitting it just every time, just really really well done. Overall. So I'm kind of, you're saying like, it's kind of sad to see that this might be the last character. I'm like, you know what? I feel like they got an overall really good cast, they're not too big, not too small, and I'm actually pretty happy with the cast as now. So I think it's a good place to end on. Nice.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I'm just going to miss talking about them on the podcast.
Yeah. It's a little bittersweet.
Yeah, a little bittersweet.
But moving on to more bittersweet, well, not really bittersweet news, just depressing news. So Sony kind of came out and said the Vita is a legacy platform and kind of went into details about, well, they didn't really say this, but Vita's basically dead when it comes to American releases and stuff like that.
Yeah. So just for clarity, a legacy platform is I don't know the exact definition, but like the PlayStation 3 is a legacy. No, the PlayStation 3 isn't even a legacy platform. The PlayStation 2 is a legacy platform.
Okay.
So like so it pretty much means there's not going to be any first party support for the PlayStation Vita. I mean, truth be told, anyone with half a brain pretty much concluded that Vita was dead a long time ago. The writing's been on the wall. Like at Sony's shitty 20th anniversary press conference bullshit, this dude comes out, talks about how the Vita isn't dead, and then he announces a bunch of ports.
Yeah.
With a smug look on his face. So at least now they're acknowledging it. That this we tried and we failed. It does kind of. I mean, I did not expect. I did not expect it after 2013 and 2014, where the Vita. I mean, E3 2014, the Vita left E3 2014 with fewer exclusives than it entered it with, because at E3 they announced that Tearaway was coming to the PS4. So yeah, I mean they announced Gravity Rush 2 at TGS 2013, I think, and we've heard absolutely nothing about it. So I'm almost 100% sure the game has either been cancelled or it's being moved to the PS4 as well. Yeah. So at this point, I pretty much deduced that the Vita was just, I went to EB Games to try to return my Vita, and do you know how much they offered me for it?
What?
Take a guess.
$50.
$50.
Okay. Here's my thoughts. Basically, yeah, that sucks. Like that really sucks that you're only getting $50 for it. But here's the thing: like logistically, they understand that. Look, the Vita, it's not making us money. It's not making us money at this point, and it's better for them to put more money into trying to get better PS4 titles than Vita titles at this point.
This is true.
Like, just realistically, I mean, it sucks because I don't necessarily think the Vita is a bad platform. It's just nobody really wants to commit to it, and that's kind of its downfall. That was why when I was deciding, do I want to get a Vita or do I want to get a 3DS? And I was like, well, 3DS has a lot more backlog games that I can get into. It's got a lot more weirder Japanese games available. And also, it's got Monster Hunter. So, as soon as people said Monster Hunter was going to be an exclusive, I was like, well, I got to get a 3DS now. There's just no way around it.
No, I completely agree. It's, you're right.
And but it does make me sad because it's like there was a lot of potential, and I will say this: the games looked amazing, like better, obviously way better than the 3DS games. Like just overall, the graphics power on the Vita was just eclipses the power on the 3DS.
Yeah, it's just a shame because 2012, like the year I bought a Vita, it was actually a very good year. What's this game called again? Dragon's Crown dropped that year. It was on the PS3 as well, but it dropped that year. The new Killzone dropped that year. God, what's that game called? Soul Sacrifice dropped that year. So,
Yeah,
it looked like things were turning around. And then, in spite of all these games dropping, the Vita just did not sell.
just did not
So,
sell.
it's, yeah, it's about,
I know this is kind of a weird thing to ask, but I would totally buy your Vita because you know what? The one thing the Vita does have, it's got Persona Golden, and I want that really bad. So I would totally buy your Vita from you, probably for $60.
oh my God.
I'm kidding. I'd probably buy it for more, but that's
That's funny.
just throwing that out there.
Okay, I'll think about that. But yeah, moving on from this depressing topic.
Oh, let's talk about the best announcement. Yeah, XCOM 2. Get hyped. Oh.
Yeah, XCOM 2. Yeah, have you seen the trailer?
Oh yes, I've seen the trailer. The trailer is fantastic and it's awesome. And there's all these little things the attention to detail. Like for example, like they've got the country emblem on the back of their armor, like they did in the game, like little things
so
like that. This is a really interesting take because in the last XCOM, the aliens were invading, and we were basically just trying to defend ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So what's interesting about this one is that it seems like it's fast forwarded like 20 years into the future or whatnot, and it's like the aliens came back and basically took over the planet, and basically the XCOM project is trying to retake the planet back. And what I find really interesting is, like, from what I've read and stuff like that, it's like, be prepared for more classes, more alien types. Also be prepared for the actual more stealthy kind of missions. Like, remember how in XCOM Enemy Within you had those missions where you had, like, a lone guy with a pistol and he had to, like, maneuver himself across the map? There's going to be more stuff like that, which makes me kind of interested because, the fact that Invisible Ink kind of came out just recently.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's trying to combine aspects of that game along with the classic XCOM that we know to love. And I would that sounds awesome. That sounds really, really interesting and cool because it adds a whole other tactical level to it. And honestly, I think that this is the best thing for Fireaxis to do because I know we haven't really talked about it, but their last game that they recently released called Starships was kind of was mediocre. Unfortunately, it didn't unfortunately compared to Galactic Civs, it was like pitiful.
Oh.
So it's like Fireaxis really needs another just winner in the works. So I'm really glad that they've announced this and they were working on this, and it's coming out this year. That's the best part.
It's coming out in November. So funny story. I was I love XCOM, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I was watching the trailer and I'm spazzing out, and then the trailer finishes, and at the very end, I look at the platforms it's on, and I only see PC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's a PC exclusive, which is. Like, I've never gone from excited to disappointed in such a short period of time. Like, you can...
Dude, does it officially say, has it been officially confirmed it being a PC exclusive?
It's officially confirmed that it's a PC exclusive.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that, but honestly, I don't feel it will be a PC exclusive for long. They're probably going to end up porting it eventually. Similar. Well, here's the thing. Like, Invisible Incorporated was supposed to be a PC exclusive, and then eventually it's getting ported to the PS4, right?
It's true. Yeah, but the thing that worries me is that they spoke a lot about the modding community and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. I see.
So, yeah, I'm so depressed right now. Honestly, because I watched the trailer, and the whole time watching the trailer, I'm like, oh, this is so perfect. There's melee combat now.
Yeah.
They added drones. They said there's gonna be more customization for the classes. I hear the dude, welcome back, Commander, and I am losing my mind. And then I just look and I see only PC there, and I was like, what? And then I googled it, and on IGN, it's labeled as a PC. Like, the article is like the new PC exclusive XCOM, and same thing with Kotaku. So yeah.
Fair
I
enough.
actually started crying. I kid you not. Like tears started streaming down my face.
It's like no. Well, to be honest, I have a PC that can run it, so it's not it's not the biggest problem for me necessarily. And I know, but for a lot of people, yeah, it could definitely be a problem, and that is a little bit disappointing. But honestly, I'm a bit skeptical whether or not it's going to stay a PC exclusive. It might, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But honestly, I'm just excited that this game is coming out. I've been dying for a new XCOM, and I don't care what system it's on, as long as it's, a PS4 or PC, I can get it. So at least it's something that I have. If it was an Xbox One exclusive, I would be fucking furious right now. But anyway, but I think it's time that we move on to our Sony expectations for E3 this year.
Yes.
So it's time to talk about good old Sony. We did Microsoft and Nintendo on the last couple of weeks. So what do we think Sony's going to do this year? I'm going to start out first this time with what I think Sony's going to do.
Okay.
I feel like they're going to show off. They're going to show off some more games this year. They're going to. I think last year.
I hope so.
Well, yeah, I know, because last year was a little bit drier compared to the Xbox. The Xbox's one. Because the Xbox One was a lot of games, but it was a bit of an overload. But I feel like they're going to show off more games. I'm expecting more Metal Gear for sure. Definitely probably going to try and get Metal Gear promoted, because I know it's for the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, but I feel like they want to push it as a Sony game.
Yeah.
There's a couple of ones that I really hope to see. Maybe some new Kingdom Hearts gameplay. I've been dying to see some more Kingdom Hearts, and we haven't seen it since like 2013.
Yeah, I think it was 2015.
Yeah, it was a while ago. So I really want to see. I really want to see a trailer or some more gameplay. That's mostly for me, but it may happen, may not. Persona 5, please. Maybe another trailer. Little bit more gameplay. I would love to see more. I know that for the last couple of E3s, they've shown Persona to some sort of extent, whether it was like Ultimax or Arena or Golden, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we'll get something, right? So I'm sure we're going to see a little bit of that. We may see some surprises. Who knows? Maybe there's a Sony game that we haven't even heard of that they're working on. This is a miracle if it would happen, but you know what game that I want to see. What's the game, Fawaz? What's the game?
The Last Guardian.
The Last Guardian. It would be a goddamn miracle to see it. But if it does end up showing up at this E3, it could be a game changer for me. It could be a real big game changer for wow. If Sony actually brings The Last Guardian to E3 this year, it will help elevate them as far as who has the best conference. It's a deal breaker for me.
Okay.
But honestly, other than that, I'm not sure. Probably a couple more expected ones. Oh, probably we're probably gonna get another Ratchet and Clank trailer.
Yeah, probably.
Probably. But that's sort of like what I feel that they're gonna do. So what do you think that's gonna happen?
Okay, so I'm gonna start off. I think they're gonna have the worst conference of the big three.
Okay.
I genuinely, because I think they're gonna focus on third-party titles a lot. There's gonna be, because I'm like, what's this shit called? Battlefront is gonna be there. Star Wars Battlefront.
Okay.
It's
you don't think it's gonna be at the EA or?
I think it's gonna be at both.
Okay.
I think they're gonna show some Battlefront because it's the lead platform, quote unquote, and that's the PS4 is the lead platform. So you know how Microsoft always used to show Call of Duty at their press conferences.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Destiny expansion is going to be announced there. So more third party shit.
Okay.
I think I think they're gonna announce the release date for the Drive Club PlayStation Plus edition.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I do think they're gonna show Guerrilla Games' new game. I know there's gonna be some good-looking games exclusive that they're gonna show. I'm gonna go on a limb and say it's gonna be Guerrilla's new game.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think it's mostly just gonna be. I think it's just gonna be underwhelming. They're gonna show Uncharted. They're gonna show Tearaway, even though no one really cares about Tearaway. They're gonna show Ratchet and Clank probably, and maybe some Persona, or they might save that for TGS. I don't know. But overall, it's either going to be really, really, really good or really bad. That's the way I see it.
I could see that. It's definitely a 50-50 when it comes to what Sony might show.
Yeah. They might come out completely surprise me, announce Guerrilla's new game, or announce the new game that Media Molecule is working on, announce Sony Santa Monica's new game, show a bunch of new IPs. But judging from their last two E3s, I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's going to be very, very, very mediocre. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm a little bit more, I'm trying to think of the word.
And the Last Guardian will not be there. That I am sure of.
Yeah. I'm optimistic. Like I said, it would be a miracle if Last Guardian shows up. Like, it would literally be a goddamn miracle. But then again, like, at E3 2013, I never thought Kingdom Hearts 3 would actually be announced. And when they showed that logo, I just, like, completely lost it. Because I'd been waiting for that game for so goddamn long.
Touché.
So there is a possibility. There is a possibility that they may surprise us. Honestly, the most I've ever been surprised was that Kingdom Hearts announcement. So, honestly, I'm more interested in their really heavy Japanese games being announced than their, like things like, the shooter ones. Like, as much as I'm interested in a new Guerrilla game, it really depends on what kind of game it is, because as much as I liked Killzone 1 and 2, I feel like the series is starting to, I think it's run its course. I don't want it to become like another Halo or another Gears, and it's sort of becoming like that.
Yeah.
So I've kind of like, okay, we'll see what their new IP is. But yeah, I'm a little more optimistic, but yes, I feel like it could definitely be a 50-50. It's either going to be really good or it's just going to be meh. Because we pointed out last week that, you do have a point, is that Sony has been in the lead for a while, and they're kind of comfortable in the place that they were. So they're not really pushing, like, the big surprises. I mean, like when you think about it, it was like their 20, like we've seen in the other E3s, their E3 2013 plan was basically point at Xbox and look at all the stupid shit that they're doing, and say that we're not, and basically tell the audience we're not going to do the stupid shit that they're doing. And then 2014 was a lot different because it was more of a normal kind of press conference. It was less like insanity that 2013 was. So I don't know. I'm just really hoping that they have something that might be, a bit of surprise, show up out of nowhere. It could make it to be a really nice press conference. But please, Persona, Kingdom Hearts. I know you're not going to do Last Guardian, but maybe, just maybe.
But hey, like you said, I never thought Battlefront would get announced, and it was. So hey, maybe the Last Guardian does get announced at PC3. Only God knows.
Only God knows. Although I have a feeling that if it was going to be announced, there would be like 70,000 people already trying to find the trailer before it even gets, get leaked immediately.
Yeah.
Because they have been searching for that game for God knows how long.
Yeah.
But anyway, I guess I'm just hopeful. I'm definitely hopeful, but we'll see how it goes. But anyway, I think we're gonna have to wrap it up here. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. If you leave a comment in the comment section, make sure to leave it. We'll make sure to answer in the next podcast. Before I forget, shout outs to that guy who commented on the Bayonetta quick look. Yes, Fawaz, you do skip a lot of cutscenes.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I forget his name, but he basically said, "Yeah, tell him how it is, man. Tell him how it is." So special shout outs to that guy.
Oh, that is hilarious. I'm actually going to go look at that comment right now.
All right, but anyway, without further ado, well, this has been Tanner Liberty and
Fawaz Muhammad Yusuf,
and we'll see you guys next time. Take care.